Who do we have tonight coming up, Mike?
We have Amrit and TK.
All right, give him a hand.
Very successful group.
Hello, my name is Amrit.
Hi, good evening, friends. I'm TK. Oh, I should go first?
Yeah, go
Okay. I did my master's from UTD. I did MBA, and I went to IT. But then I took a break to take care of family, had kids, but I never wanted to go back because 9 to 5, I don't think that's how you want to live your life. So I was trying to explore, and one of our friends, who is also a member of LU, told about LU, and then we started, okay, let's figure out and find out more, and rest is history. This is the best decision ever. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Amrit Mundra. I'm master's in electrical engineering from SMU. Come from a very humble family out of India, migrated to the US in 2001, so almost 20 years now. I'm working for a semiconductor company, very hard to guess in Dallas, for almost 20 years.
Not TI, right?
Not TI, of course not.
And TK has retired now. She's full-time working on the lifestyles.
Oh, I forgot. I got so much time, so I got the Texas Realtor license.
So she enjoyed real estate to a point where she decided to go full hard, and she's now official realtor, Texas State Realtor as well. And she's also done other courses related to real estate.
You get so much time.
So we live in Allen here. We have two daughters. They're sitting on the corner. They're happy they got an iPad time out of cycle and putting headphones on so they won't listen to us. So when we joined Lifestyle, we joined in 2016. I remember I was sitting in the second row over there, and Dave Fisher was going over the 2-day seminar. So that was a life-changing moment for us. And after seminar, we was pretty much signed up for Lifestyle as a big member. And we decided that TK will not pursue job anymore. We're going to focus on this, and that's what we have been doing since 2016. So after we started, we invested passively first, which means we invested in approximately 11 deals so far. And when we say a deal, it is how as one of the person who pulls the deal together, and we invest passively into the deal. So we invested 11 just to get a hang of how the things work, what is the model, and so on.
Yeah, and this is something we encourage our leads to do. We have a lot of leads that are trying to get into this that have zero real estate background. So what we try and encourage people to do is go out, be passive investor in at least one, do a few deals it gets you in the rhythm. You start to understand the financials and how you're buying these assets. You just don't want to step into it. As a lead, you're a fiduciary. You are really holding a lot of people's money, and you have to respect that. So as a fiduciary, we want you to be trained. And being a lead, and Dave will go through this weekend, it's not easy. Not everybody's right to be a lead. So we put you through a lot of training. You just can't walk up and be a lead. So they went through extensive training, and what they said about being passive investor, that's pretty key too. You need to know this stuff.
Yeah, after taking, and also there is a formal education we have to pass. There's an aspiring lead program. We joined the aspiring lead program, so we spent a couple of years just in that program before we could become actual lead. So it took us time to get to the stage.
Okay.
At this point in time, we have 3 deals, and we're going to showcase our first deal, which is called Haltom Oaks here. It's in the Haltom city, very close to Fort Worth. Our second deal was in November 2020 in Garland, Texas. That's a 152 units. When we bought, we added an additional unit to it. Now it's a 153 units. And we just acquired in April our third acquisition, which is 222 units in Fort Worth, which is made up of 2 different portfolio properties. Apart from that, we also venture into single family, and we own 4 single family as of now. And that was something we wanted to try out, single beyond just multifamilies.
So we can see they're slackers.
So a key thing which we want to highlight, which Dave Fisher touched earlier, that we had no experience, no real estate experience at all. We used to pass by apartment. In fact, when we started coming to US, we stayed in an apartment for many years, almost 9 years. Never realized something we will come to this. We always thought this is a very complex thing, very out of reach. Never even crossed the mind that this is also possible for us. So just to reiterate, we never had zero experience. We are both from IT background. Okay, so why did we join Lifestyle? TK mentioned that we both were in IT, and even before us, folks, the guy was in IT here. Same thing, it's very demanding, 7 to, now it has, after COVID, work from home. I don't know how many people are in IT, they work from home. There is no 9 to 5 anymore, especially for IT. You are always on computers working on, so it's become 9 to 10 p.m. job. Sometimes you have a calls with the China team, sometimes you call with the Europe and so on. So, so that was one of the reasons, and she was working in Match.com, and we want to break free from that and have a path forward. Also get time for our family pack, two girls, and we like to travel. You see a lot of picture here of the national parks, so we both are like to see, that's in our bucket list. We have seen almost 11, 12 so far.
Yeah, there are 63.
There are 63,
Just
so that's
FYI.
our. So we have much more to cover, but our goal is to see all of them. That's our thing, to go and check all the national parks. And after going through the classes, we kind of we could understand what Dave Fisher was teaching in to this class, and it makes sense to us, and that's the reason we kind of jumped into it. Okay, so today we are going to showcase this property, first property we acquired called Haltam Oaks Apartment. It's in Haltam City. Folks who are not familiar, Haltam City is a small city next to Fort Worth. That's the first acquisition. It's a 68-unit property we bought in March of 2019. We paid $4.8 million for that property. That's approximately $70K a door. Total out of cash we raised was $1.785 million. Total partners, we were 41. Some of them are in the audience today. And minimum investment which we took was $25,000.
So let's touch base on that one too. As David said, it's even the smallest amount of an investor, even $25,000. We even have lead investors who allow $10,000 and $12,000 too. So don't get discouraged that you think you have to have tons of money. Yes, it takes money to make money, but you don't have to have $100,000, $200,000 to invest in these things. People do allow you in at 25 and 12, and it depends on the deal. So understand they open it up, and we encourage our leads to open up for new people, new beginning people who are in the group. So we always allow that.
Yeah, I know, Sears doing it. One more thing I want to bring up as well. Are all your investors right here in Dallas?
No, we had people from Hawaii, people from out of states, people we never met, we never saw. We actually saw them in Expo very first time after 2 years, and was so excited to see them.
And the reason I want to bring this up, because we have people watching from all across America, and they're watching this. They're like, well, that's in Texas. What about me? I'm in California or Hawaii or whatever. We always encourage you guys, live where you want to live, invest where it makes sense. So if you want to live in communist California, fine. Eat your kale and seaweed out there. Keep your morals out there, but invest where it makes sense. Does that make sense? So here's another question I have. You have 41 investors. How many of those investors do you think actually came out and looked at the property with you, of the 41?
I would say maybe 1 or 2.
1 or 2. Does that make sense? So most people just go, where's my check? Who likes that idea? Yeah. Really quick though, are some of your investors in the room, you think?
Yes, there are a few
If
here.
anybody in the room, raise your hand if you're in a deal. Raise it like you care. The Maupins, these people here. Okay, I see a bunch of y'all. So they're real people.
Real people, yes. Yes.
And they live right here, and they're too lazy to come see the property. But I just want people to understand that you don't have to live directly in Dallas or Houston or wherever I'm teaching. So
We never went to see our passive property.
so the deals they invest passive, they never even went to them.
Yeah.
You just said, "Where's my check?"
Yeah, and
Okay, good.
most of the property we invested was with Mike, so Mike, where's the check? So talking more about the deal. So it was a 68 unit, like we started, it was a 1985 build. It had 52 one bedroom, one bath, and 16 two bedroom, one bath. Nice square footage. Individual HVAC system, individual boilers inside the unit, on-site laundry, on-site office, and on-site maintenance shop. From a financing standpoint, we got a Freddie Mac loan. It was at a 5.05 interest for 3 years interest only, and we could leverage of close to 72,000, which means approximately $3.5 million as a loan amount. We took a step-down prepayment. People who don't know step-down, it's basically you decide upfront what is going to be your prepayment, and it is fixed, so you know your exit strategy. We had a plan to exit in 3 to 5 years, so we wanted a very finite exit plan, hence we went through.
And I know if you're brand new, a lot of this sounds like Greek. You don't have to worry about that. What I always say when you're new and listening, like the people that are already in deals, they want to know all this minutia stuff, which is great for them. But if you're new, you're like, I can't do this. This is too hard. I will break this down so simple that even the Aggies in the room can understand the math, okay? So I will break it down to a simple level. What I want you to do if you're new is listen to this and say, what's in it for me? If I put in this amount of money, how much would I get back? Who likes that idea? So I'll try to point out the simple parts of it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We sold this property last year, December 2020. We just closed before Christmas. Actually, on 19th, we closed the property. Our goal was to send the final check on the day of Christmas, just the day before Christmas. And we actually FedEx overnight to get the check. So I hope all investors got before Christmas. And we sold for almost $8 million, approximately $120K a door. Thank you. Okay, so more about the property. Jumping into the finance. So income was close to, this is actual numbers, T12 numbers, not our projection. Our projection was a bit conservative. We underwrote it bit conservatively. So the actual property actually performed better than what we originally thought. So income is approximately $740K. Expenses were $382, and monthly cash flow when we closed was approximately $16K a month. NOI is a net operating income that was close to $360K at the end of November 21.
Where's my nerd engineers in the room? How can I tell this slide was put together by an engineer? 73 cents. You could just round that up, could you? You couldn't let that go. Who understands that?
Yes. Most of my reporting is into cent level and a lot of graphs and stuff as well. So, okay, so like Dave said, we'll go into very high level what it means for as an investor, and that's the last slide is very important. So, total return was 159% in 2 years and 8 months. Thank you.
Very nice.
And just to reiterate and make it very, very clear, because we have seen some of the deal outside of lifestyle, they roll in your investment into the return, and that's how they kind of show it. So let's break it down. So it's very clear. So if you have invested $100K in this deal, we would have cut the final check of $259,000. And we have done for some of our investors in this deal. So it means first thing we give you your investment back, and on top of that, we give you 159% back. So. Thank you.
Now, all you leads, take note how good that slide is. Even the Aggies understood it, okay? So that was a great slide.
Okay, so now talking about what we did to achieve that numbers. So one of the key things is, of course, to do what's called rehab. Is basically you pump your money, you increase the valuation of your property. So this is the office picture, how we got, and the right-hand side is a picture of what we made. And actually, TK did a lot of designing and showing her artistic side of.
Yeah, I always wanted to be an interior designer.
At one point, I was trying to choose a color, then I back off. I said, it's your real game.
It was fun redesigning the whole office.
So this, as you can see, there's a lot of difference, and that makes a very, very good impression. If your residence is coming in and you look at your office, is the way it is, we took over, obviously you cannot demand more rents because they also think the same thing is going to be applicable for your apartment as well. So we put a lot of money in this, approximately $6,000 to rehab it. We also put kind of fridge and coffee machine for our on-site staff, so they also feel home when they're working at the property. We updated the signage. Again, main thing which you want to attract your potential resident is to work on the curb appeal. And one of the key items we worked on was to improve the signage. So we replaced both the signage visible from the main road as well as the signage which is pointed to the office. So you can see the difference. Again, we designed the signage in-house. We don't use a third party or any other, so we try to save. TK does most of the signage. And it's a funny story. We did this signage, and the Haltham Oaks initially was written in the orange color. We thought it's going to look cool. It's orange leaf and orange color. And then in glaring sun, when you come on a road, due to the aluminum background, you couldn't read anything coming to this. Said, oh, that backfired. So we have to go back and stick a tape on every of the alphabet. So Haltham Oak, there is actually a gray color special tape which you have to paste back to put it back the way it is now. So that works out good. So yeah, that's a lesson learned, and our next signage is very different. You will see in our case study. Okay, this is some of the interior upgrades we did. Shower, we had carpet in the bedrooms and even in the living room. So this is the actual picture. What is put here? We change into the hardwood vinyl flooring. We put a big tiles, 12 by 12 tiles into the shower heads and so on. Okay, again the numbers. No cent this time.
He just loves numbers.
So we're going to focus, we can go through each of them, but I think the key point we want trying to say is we started distribution, quarterly distribution at the rate of 6%. I think we started after 6 months, 7 months, and then we jumped it to 7%, and our projection for year 3 was we could have easily hit 9%, even 10%, but we executed a sale before that. So these are true numbers, and this is pulled again from our T12 of the closing.
So remember, this was a target cash on cash return, which is very strong. But you saw that after 2.5 years, they already hit their numbers. They exceeded their numbers. They exceeded their expectations. That's why they sold it. Once you hit your numbers, it's time to sell. And they did a phenomenal job with it.
Yeah, this is a slide like Mike said. So that's why I didn't put any year 1 and year 2, because that was our projection. And the year 3, what we executed was our, I think, if I'm not mistaken, our year 7 projection or year 6 projections. So when we hit the number, it was time for us to execute a sale. This is we sold for approximately 8.1 million. We pay off the debt. There was some cost related to listing fees and so on. And then finally cash, which we got was approximately $3 million, which was for a distribution. This is after giving the original back. So the actual reserve at the end is, after 2 years, 9 months, 159,000, 59%, approximately $3 million equity gain. Okay.
What, you're waiting for me to start? I was just upset it was down to 78 cents again.
I was wondering that too.
So how did we do? Like Dave Fisher said, we are the best product. We invested into the exteriors to make sure our curb appeal is good in terms of improving the signage, improving the curb appeals, landscaping, paying attention to a lot of details. In fact, this property was also featured in the master bus tour when it was in Dallas 2 years back. So some of investors would have seen this property there. For interior upgrades, we do the full paint, floorings, resurfacings. We were trying out with a backsplash, but before that, we even executed the sale. So that was our plan to take there. Other thing we focus is on marketing strategy. That's a key to our execution. Heavily invest in marketing in terms of our online tools, let it be Facebook, Google Space. We directly do ourselves. In fact, I spend a lot of my time while sitting in my job going on Google and putting a lot of posts. So, and then local outreach is something which we also learned is very helpful. Basically, going to the nearby businesses, colleges, and leaving your pamphlets there about your properties. Rent increase was our strategically increased. We didn't take it up. So we look at how the market is going. In fact, we were in the middle of COVID so we didn't increase the rent for a while. So we just keep it constant. And being an engineer, we take care of in-house IT. So I have seen some of the expense statement people paying like $2,000 for website management. I don't know what website are they managing, but for us, we do for like $6 a month. Create a safe community, and that's the key message for us. That we responded to the resident issues. We were almost one day fix, and we could connect with the residents. So that was the main reason why we were able to increase the rent. We were almost 99 to 100% from last one and a half years. Okay, how lifestyle change? So basically it changes everything. We come from 9 to 5 jobs, and now it shows us a new path where we can pursue. We get a time back for us, the things we like to do. We like to travel national parks, so give us a way forward where we can start pursuing that path.
And people who help, like you don't find such type of environment and community where people actually help you to succeed.
Yeah, that's a big part of being a lifestyle. I mean, people are so helpful. Your mentors are so helpful. You just call them and they're there.
But really quick, before we move on, I think it's very important because there's a bunch of new people here, never been here before. And think back when you first joined, you were nervous, you're scared, is this real? What advice would you give to brand new people that are thinking either maybe like you started as passive investor, where what advice would you give to the new people right now?
The new people is, I would say, yes, start as a passive investment. That's a very good way to get into, to understand the model, especially if you want to become a lead at some point. So you get to know the expectation from a passive standpoint. What do passive expect? Because you were in that shoes a couple of months or a year back. So that would be my start. And we started with that. It helps. There's a lot of help here. So you get scared. We get scared, especially when you are signing off the dotted line. And
for a few million.
Yes, exactly. You literally get scared.
I remember he didn't sleep for 3 days.
So,
and I like hearing this because don't think everybody's like, yeah, I made 150%. It's like, no, you peed your pants when you signed that first time.
Yes.
Because
And
it's other people's hard-earned money.
Yes.
It's a big responsibility. And it was really fulfilling when you actually keep up the promise. Actually, you deliver more than what you promised. It's very satisfying. Yeah, it is all with the proper guidance, hard work, and God's grace.
And I know you guys are very conservative in projections. When you first did it, you sent out something called a PPM and an operating agreement, all this to your investors. You probably said, we'll make like a 60% return or something. Do you remember back what your original projection was to your investors? I just want to be real with people. I don't know if you remember that.
Our projection was in year 3, we were projecting around 60% return. We execute a sale. This 159% I think was year 7, something insane.
Give them a hand for doing that, being conservative. Even if they made only a 60% return, is that good? So the point is we teach people to be conservative. I'm glad you did it that way.
Yeah,
so.
yes.
Okay.
So short-term goal is to stabilize our third property. We acquired in April. We are working on it, almost on the tail end of it. That involves a reconstruction of the burn unit. So it's a new experience for us. And again, we were not sure. We called Mike. It's a funny story. The broker didn't knew that there's a fire, and we were standing in the parking lot. I'm looking at the unit, which is totally burned out. There's no roof. And I called Mike. Mike was supposed to meet me over there for property. And I said, Mike, what do I do? Do I go back or it's the end of it? I remember Mike said, yeah, that's an opportunity. So
we call that a skylight.
So our third property involves the reconstruction, which is almost coming to end. So that's a new experience for us. And invest passively. We have been investing, and we get time now to travel to national park. We went to Zion recently. Kids walked in the river. That's something we never did.
The Narrows.
So
you can hike in the river. It's so amazing.
You hike in the river. You can hike on land too.
And we start looking forward. Once we stabilize this property, start looking for the next deal. Long term is to expand our portfolio, spend more time to travel and give back. We are always helpful, trying to help as much we can. If we can be any help, we will be really honored. Our team mentors are the pillars for any deal in the syndications. Mike Spot, Alex, Don, they were phone call away during this deal, even deal we have done before. Caroline brought us the deal. Haltermoff's deal came from Caroline. She's not here today.
She, just so everybody knows, she's one of our lifestyles realtors. Found them this deal.
And a former special thanks to Ricardo. He's backstage.
Ricardo, wave your hand. That guy gave us several $1 billion, so we like him.
Yeah,
He's one of the lenders.
Yeah, we like to.
He's awesome, amazing guy. I mean, I don't see him as a vendor. He's like a true part of our team. So thank you. And to our passive, we have 41 passive who trusted we coming very first time, and that's a very, very big thing for us. You come in front of saying, hey, I have this deal, but by the way, I have no experience in real estate. And some people give you $100,000, wire you $100,000. That's a big deal for us. So
Thanks for trusting.
Very sincerely, thank you and trust. Thank you for that.
Well, the person that gave $500,000, they now got $1 million. They're pretty happy.
Yes. And our on-site teams, which we have to give a credit because they are the one who are running the show, daily show. So we had one on-site staff, one on-site maintenance. So they were one who were running the show. So thanks to them as well.
Awesome.
So
well, go back one slide.
Yeah, that's
because we want to answer questions. Is that cool?
Sure.
So who has questions for these folks?
Since I'm the one that's got feedback.
Yeah, you can do it with it. You know how to turn a microphone on, right?
It's above my pay grade. Can you show me? You make a good Aggie. My wife's an Aggie.
So how much investment did you put into the deal?
The question was, never mind, I heard it. I'm so used to having to repeat in the other city, so.
Folks who are coming in new, there is a white paper which every lead is required to follow, and the white paper set a minimum set which a lead as a sponsor he has to put in. For the first deal, the minimum used to be 15%, a change now. So we put $300,000 from our pocket in the first deal. Second deal, we put actually we put 10%, almost $600,000. And third deal, we put $800,000. So yeah, a lot of our money in our deals.
So remember, that's an important thing that is different with lifestyles as well. We want these leads to have skin in the game. You know, if you're going to put your hard-earned money in, we want theirs in too. Makes a big difference in the attention.
And here's something I want to recommend to people, because I know there's a lot of passive in the room, and some people don't like when I say this, some of the leads get mad at me. I never invest as a passive investor more than the lead himself will put in. So the biggest passive investment I ever did, and I'm worth millions now, the biggest I ever did was $400K, and the lead put in $400K. And then I have other deals where they put in $100K, I'll put in $100K. Does that make sense? I just want to keep you guys out of trouble, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I was going to see if you could give us the name of your second property and your third property.
Name of the property?
Yes.
The second property, which is 150 units, is called Centerville Crossing Apartments. It's in Garland, Texas. We are going to do a road trip coming next Friday.
Oh, great. Okay.
So you get the chance to not able.
Well, no, it doesn't matter just you guys. It matters to people online. So we're going to be going on a road trip to the property. If you come to the seminar this weekend, you join the preferred program, that's the property you're going to tour is one of theirs, just so you know.
So
okay?
we got to show the presentation, similar numbers, and also you got to see the property. You walk through the property. And third property is, there are two properties called the Trails at Wedge Creek and the Trails at Wedgewood. We just renamed them to this new property.
Wait, could you repeat the names?
The Trails at West Creek,
Okay.
the Trails at Wedgewood.
Okay, great.
Fort Worth.
Thank you.
Yeah, Westworld. Awesome. Let me get one or two online first, and we'll jump back in the room, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. What did you guys do as far as property management?
So we use a third party, but we use kind of a hybrid model. We sit on their head more than they wanted us to sit on their head. So, so yeah, we spend a lot of our time with them. They mainly take care of staffing and doing a bookkeeping, but all our expenses management. Rehab is 100% us because they charge fees for the
Yep.
rehab, and we don't want to pay any fees. So we do in-house rehabs. Even we monitor the expenses and so on. So it was kind of a hybrid model.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And did you do any rubs or generate any other miscellaneous income?
For miscellaneous incomes, yes. So we started charging for pest control. We also charge for reserved parking. And we also charge for trash fees. This was
And
not-
remember all these things if you're new, if you're coming to my seminar this weekend, the reserve parking, I'll show you how huge that is with the numbers this weekend. I'll break it down. So you go, what's $20? That's not much. It's huge when you get the big apartments. So, okay. You got one over here?
Yeah, thanks. First of all, congratulations and
Thank you.
on being the lead. And I saw that you were a passive investor for 12 years, and then there was a KP in between passive and lead. What is that, KP?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, sure. So key principle, that's part of the team which allows you to pull the financing. So when you go for a Freddie Mac or a loan.
I'll explain it much simpler.
Yeah.
He co-signed on a loan. You like that version better? They start after I teach them, they get up here, and I have to bring it back down when you're new.
So you are getting mortgage loans on all of these deals, always?
Yes,
Okay.
always. There's always a loan. This property had $3.5 million of loan, and we didn't have a net worth of $3.5 million. So we,
He had to have somebody else sign with him, which
Sign,
I'll
yeah.
teach that this weekend, what that means.
yeah, and we like to thank our KP in this deal, Carlos Mendencourt. He was here sometime back, I think, but
Yeah,
thank
he's
you for
lead.
him for being a KP in this deal.
Okay. You got one back there. Mike, get exercise. Run! Run! Oh, look at that. I got him to run. How do you get a millionaire run? There you go. Give me another million.
My question was, are there any protections for the partners in case the market goes down, or any contingency plans?
But protection in sense of the loan protection or?
The protection for their investments?
Oh, protection investor. Okay. So like we said, we are the biggest investor ourselves because we have a bigger skin in the game. So our goal is to make sure the property execute what we want it to execute. So we spend a lot of time and energy to make sure our rents are the way we want the rents to look like. When COVID hit, we were concerned as well, like everybody else in the industry. So we took some measures, and one of the measures was we stopped the distribution because we want to sit on the cash. So we are always looking forward what can happen, so on.
So what he's saying, really simple, is the worst we ever had to deal with is COVID. Who agrees? So even though we didn't know what was going to happen, everybody was scared. So Del Walmsley, our founder, said, hey, everybody, let's be cautious during this period. Let's just hold back our distributions for a couple quarters. Let's see what the market does. That was me. I don't know why. But my pocket's talking, probably my wife. So the point is this, is we held back. The distributions didn't go away. We just wanted to be cautious. Who likes the word cautious? Now, when they get a loan on this, it's a 30-year loan, right? Amortized, but it might be a 10-year balloon or a 7-year balloon. You understand? But what people worry about is, well, what happens if there's a recession like under Joe Biden, right? I'm not going to get deep into this Hayek versus Keynesian economics and stuff, but who knows how long a recession actually lasts? Anybody know? 18 to 24 months. So what, do people still need a place to live? So even if the market crashes, how do we insulate that? First off, we make money when we buy. We're not buying perfect properties. We're buying distressed assets. So there's meat on the bone. So even if the market goes down a little bit, all we do is hold another year or two instead of a shorter plan, like his original plan was 5 years. Well, heck, he made more money in 3 years. They decided to sell early. Is that okay? So there's leeway of what they have to do, and there's an operating agreement with what ifs in there. What do we do in this situation? What do we do in this situation? So that protects the investors. And we spent about an hour and a half on that in the seminar of all the things to protect the investors. There's something called a passive investor checklist. There's something called a white paper, rules that Lifestyles follows. Nobody else does, but we do. Of all our members and all our leads have to follow these rules. Guess what happens if they don't follow the rules? We kick them out. Who likes we do that? All of our lead investors, like Amrit here, they have to be certified. We just don't let them be so they have to sit down with their mentor one-on-one. He makes sure they have something called the chutzpah to do this, okay? That's a technical term. I use simple terms, right? There's 34 or 35 different tests that he had to take. And he had to pass every single one of those tests by 100%. Who likes that? And if he gets a question wrong, what do? They make him go back and take the test, and they answer the questions in a different way each time. Does that make you feel a little better? So there's a lot of precautions we put in there for that. Great question. Sorry for the 20-minute dissertation, but I want to make sure I answered your question.
And yeah, just a key thing is that lead doesn't make money unless there is a distribution happens, which means there's no way lead can get money without giving money to the passives. So that's a key one.
Mm-hmm. Great question. All right. Okay, so, thank you so much for sharing, and I appreciate it, guys.